Ferrall on the bench with me, Jody McPhil. And had a couple people on hold drop off. You want to buzz back? Do so quickly. I'll get you in during the final 15. 855-212-4CBS. We will keep the phones open till the top of the hour. Bobby from L.A. is up on CBS Sports Radio. How are you, Bobby?
How are you? Yes, it is I, the greatest caller in the history of talk radio. Thank you so much for taking my call, my friend.
If you say so, I will be the judge of that when this telephone call ends, not until then.
Sure. Now, let me tell you, before I say why I call, I want to make sure I establish something. I don't think a manager should be fired just because their team does bad, because it's not the manager's fault necessarily, and vice versa. When a team does good, I don't think a manager should always be given credit. However, having said that, I'd like to point out that there are things that a manager can do to lose a series, like Don Mattingly for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm not going to go into detail because I know on national radio people don't pay attention to details for certain local teams, but can we all agree that you're supposed to put your best freaking lineup in the playoffs? And this guy has, how many times does he change the lineup? How many times does he just do this platoon thing for every number in the order except the pitcher? And how many times does he do these questionable, nutty, random benching, random starting? Let's put this guy in the third spot. Let's put this guy in the fourth spot. And I'm curious, I've seen articles online about how Mattingly does this with lineups. I know I'm not the only one, but at what point do people realize Mattingly should be fired?
Okay, let me give you a little info first, and then I got a couple questions for you. Number one, take it as darn close to Bible when I tell you Don Mattingly does not have full control of his lineup. There are several teams in baseball that the front office has a huge say in the day-in, day-out lineup. One of which is the Los Angeles Dodgers, okay? So Mattingly, some managers have complete and utter control, and they make up the lineup every single day, and it never gets suggestions from above, and it's up to them 162 times during the regular season and that much more during the playoffs. Mattingly is forced to take input on an almost daily basis from the powers that be upstairs with the Dodgers. So it's not always about Mattingly in the lineup decisions. Take that as gospel, okay? I'm not making that up. Number two, what lineup decisions that he's been making do you vehemently disagree with in the platoons that he's got going?
I'll give you an example, a great example, okay? Would you agree your number 3 hitter should be probably your best hitter? Would you agree with that?
Generally speaking, yes.
Okay, look at what he did in every game. 21-year-old Corey Seager was batting third. Then he put him batting second. Then he benched him. So he thought, okay, Corey Seager's not doing that great. Maybe I'm being an idiot for putting him third and second. Then he randomly brings him back in for the 5th spot. And no matter what, do you really think a 21-year-old unproven kid who is not doing well in the playoffs, should be batting third, second, bench, then 5th?
Was hitting way down in the order that you thought should have been moved up. That was being disrespected by Seager hitting as high as he was.
Yeah, sure. There was one game where Ethier was batting lower than him. And the better question, does Corey Seager belong in the 3rd, 2nd, and 5th spot?
Well, again, if not who? Here's the problem. The Dodger lineup isn't that good. They don't have that many great options. They really weren't that good a team.
I'll ask you this. How about this? I agree with you that you have to do the best with what you have. Let me ask you this. In any of these games, do you feel Mattingly put out the best lineup possible?
I think he put out what he perceived to be the best lineup every single game. I don't think he tried to put a lesser lineup out. He gave J-Roll a shot. Seager's going to be their shortstop for years to come. And he came up and he hit well over 300 in the month that he played. He gave Jimmy a shot. He put him back in for one game. Thought he would be a better guy against Harvey. Jimmy did nothing. He went back to Seager, not only because he thought he's his best now, he knows he's going to be the Dodgers shortstop for the next decade. So why not get the future started right now? So I got no problems with how he deployed Seager. I don't know if he's a number 2 batter, but that's where he used him. He's probably more like a 5 or a 6. He used him 5th one game, which is probably where he should have used him. I got no problems with that. They traded for Kendrick. They gave up more for Kendrick than they did for Utley. I thought he might have gotten Utley into the game a little earlier tonight. He pinch hit Rollins first and Utley second. I would have gotten Utley up there sooner. He waited to use Utley, which I disagree with that particular move, but he went with Kendrick, and that was his guy as his second baseman. When they got Utley, they told him they weren't making him any promises. He got a lot of starts because Kendrick was hurt, but when Kendrick came back, he was going to play, and Kendrick was, after Turner, probably their best hitter, and Gonzalez. Those were their three best hitters, so I wouldn't have taken Kendrick out of the lineup either. Jock Peterson went in a tank on him. What are you going to do? You got to throw a guy like Hernandez out there who out-hit Peterson by plenty during the last month of the season. Ethier's okay. Ethier's nothing special. And he doesn't deserve to bat third either. That's the problem. You look at that lineup, the only two guys who really deserve to hit in the middle of the lineup are Gonzalez and Justin Turner, and that's where he had them.
How about this? Can I just ask you one thing then? When I asked you if he's putting out the best lineup possible, you said you think he's doing what he thinks is the best lineup possible. So I'll end it with this then. Is the playoffs the time, out of all the parts of the season, is the playoffs the time to keep randomly changing your lineup and mismatching? Isn't it better to have a consistent lineup? Is this the time to keep flip-flopping and mismatching and doing all these things?
If it's consistently bad, well, then no, you don't stick with it just because you stuck with it all year. And he didn't. Mattingly's been running guys in and out of that lineup all year long. It was good enough to win the West. It was good enough to have the second-best record. Well, actually, no, Pittsburgh had the second-best record. But they couldn't win a division because the Cardinals had the 100 wins in that division. Second-best divisional winning record in the National League. There's a reason why they did that. Greinke, Kershaw. That's how they won this year. Greinke, Kershaw, and cross your fingers. Take a shot. Hope against hope. I will tell you, in evaluating the Dodgers and the fact that they came up short with the highest payroll in baseball by a large margin, as a matter of fact, and they're out in their first round of the playoffs, if you're looking for reasons that the Dodgers did not get the job done, start with the fact that they never got Don Mattingly a legit third starter.